Hey guys, what we're going to do today is our Adobe Audition license-free music project. And like the title says, we're going to be using the application Adobe Audition, which you should have seen a little bit of information about in the previous tutorial, which was kind of like an introduction to Adobe Audition, if you will. So hopefully that was helpful to you. And if you didn't get a chance to watch it, please go back and watch it because it has a lot of the tools that we're going to be using in this project. And so I don't want to reteach the tools. I want to jump right into this project just to get things going. So in order to get things going, what I want to point out to you is that we have right here, I have already shared a file with you or a folder with you called Loopology Content. All right, Loopology Content. So I shared that with you, and I don't know if yours is yellow like mine is because I colored mine yellow. But what you want to do is just go ahead and open that Loopology Content. And what you're going to do is we're going to, for this project, we're going to take some files in that Loopology Content, and we're going to take maybe 4 or 5 of them, and we're going to put them into our session view in Adobe Audition, and we're going to mix them to create a song, if you will. So it's going to be a song that is license free. Okay, so hopefully these will work in the way that we expect them to work. There might be some slight edits, so we'll go ahead and edit them if we need to. All right, so here's what we're going to do is, once again, we're going to go to our Loopology Content folder, and inside that Loopology Content, you're going to see lots of different styles of music, because what we're going to do right now is we're going to create a song in a certain style of music. And so some of these are already pre-mixed for you or pre-set for you in that style of music that you might want to do. So for this one, for example, let's go ahead and let's see what I want to do. I'm going to go with maybe a reggae and ska vibe, if you will, because you guys like to use that term vibe. So I'll go ahead and double click reggae and ska. You guys can go with any of these folders you want. I'm just going with reggae and ska. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to listen to different parts and use those parts in my song. Okay, it'll all become a little clearer in a little bit. But the first thing you want to do is preview the style, those loops, because these are all loops that you're going to use in your project. All right, so I'm going to go with the classic dub reggae because, you know, that's what I was raised on. And you're going to see some different things going on over here. As you can see, we've got some drums. We've got a Rickenbacker, which is actually a guitar. You've got a crunchy organ, very popular in the reggae style of music. You've got another Rasta reggae guitar. You got a rhythm guitar, and you've got a bass guitar. Now, all music consists of a lot of parts, but if you want to start your own rock band, you're going to need at least 4 different things. You're going to need a drum. You're going to need someone who can play the bass guitar. All right, you're going to need a guitar player. And normally you're going to need a vocalist, but in this case, we're going to use another guitar player or a keyboardist. And for our style of music, we're going to use keyboards. All right. So the first thing you want to do is kind of decide on the drum beat that you want your song to sound like. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the classic reggae drum. And inside the classic reggae drum, now we're seeing some files. All right. These are all audio files. So what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and listen to the ones that we like. Okay. So what styles of drums do we have? Well, we've got classic reggae drums, and we've got like some numbers, and these are of course just the number. And behind it, as you can see, the extension CEL, that's kind of a looped beat. And we'll see some other ones that are not looped, that are just like single beats. So we can just I'm not sure what we're going to use, but let's go ahead and let's start with the first one. I'll double click it. It's going to open up this view right here. And let me turn on hold on one second. Let me shut this down. And now I'm going to preview just by turning up my volume. Pretty basic, not bad. And let's do it again. That's not bad. Let's see what the next one has to. I like that. I'm not going to download it yet, But I do like number 21, so I'm going to make a note on a piece of paper, drum 21. Let's see what 20 has. Kind of slow. Okay, let's listen to the next one. That's just kind of a rhythmic drum, not bad. Oh, that's got a little flurry in it. Not bad. All right, I'm just gonna go with 17. I'm gonna download it. All right, so it's gonna download. And I'm gonna go back to, that's the first one I kind of liked. I think it was 21. I like that one too, so I'm gonna go ahead and download that. Okay, so I've downloaded 2 drum beats. Now we're gonna go ahead and listen to a different instrument, and in this case, we're gonna listen to a bass drum. Or a bass guitar, I'm sorry, bass guitar. The other thing you're gonna see right here are keys, A and D minor. Listen to it again. Okay, nothing really happens there that's gonna be very interesting. I'm gonna go, let's go a couple in. So this is a G minor key. This is the D minor. All right, I kind of like that one, and I'll say, you know what? I'm gonna go with one that has like two different keys. D, C, G. That's your most basic. All right, so that has 3 different keys or 3 different notes, if you will. I'm gonna download that one. So now we have DCG on our bass guitar. All right, let's now go to let's go with the Rickenbacker guitar. And so I did the DCG before, so I don't want to go with a minor guitar. I want to stick with, just a basic guitar that at least is D, or G, right? So this one is, okay, here's a D. Okay, that one's a bass guitar as well. So I'm not gonna go with the bass, I already have a bass. Let's find a guitar and just a rhythm. And this is an AG, so let's see if that works for us. Whoops, not sure what happened, huh? That's very close to what I want. I want something that's a little bit more rhythmic. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. That's a G. All right, that's not bad. Let's download that one. All right, and now we're going to go ahead and download a crunchy organ. All right, so crunchy organ is like your most basic or classic reggae kind of sound. So this is a slide organ. We're going to scroll down again. We want something that kind of sounds a little crunchy. All right, so right here is a crunchy organ. All right, that sounds pretty good. Let's see how that sounds. A little less, more. I want a little bit more crunch, I think. A little bit more crunch. Let's see what these leads sound like. CDG. Those are more leads, right? Okay, so we want crunchy. Come on, find me some crunchy organ. Here's a C minor. What does that sound like? Here's a G minor. All right. For now, that's going to work. All right. So now we've got drums. We've got 2 different kinds of drums, as you can see down here. We've got a bass guitar, we've got a guitar, and we've got a crunchy organ. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to Show in Folder. And I'm going to move all of these sounds into my SD card. As you know, I have an SD card, but you guys have a jump drive. So we're going to go to Audition, and we're going to create a new folder. All right, so we're going to go right here and create a new folder. So that would be right here, new folder. And I'm going to just type in Adobe Audition. Music project. All right. Adobe Audition Music Project. Gonna double click that. Well, actually, I'm gonna go back down to my downloads, find my 5 files, select the first one, hit Shift on my keyboard, click on that to select the last one, and Adobe Audition Music Project. I'm gonna move them all in here for now. All right, so those are all in there now. I think it's a copy. But while I'm in here, I'm going to create a folder, and I'm just going to name this one Instruments. Oops. All right. And I'm just going to, again, select and drag them all into there. So they're all in this instrument folder. Okay. All right. So that is all set as far as my selecting or finding my different sounds. All right. So now it's time to open Adobe Audition once again and start editing. All right. So I'm going to go up to my full screen and I'm going to go right here to Adobe Audition. All right. And let me just double check to make sure that it's showing. Yep. All right. That's good. Just making sure that you can see what I'm seeing. So what I'm seeing is the Adobe Audition default window like we used the last time. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to start putting files into this. Now, with this particular project, I don't really have like a lot of different types of media. It's all music, so I'm not going to create any bins, although in the ideal world, if I had a lot of different instruments, I would create a bin for, I would create a bin for guitars. I would create a bin for, vocals. I would create, etc., etc. All right. But in this case, I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to double click in here. And as I double click, all right, it's opening my Explorer view. And I can go to Adobe Audition Music Project right there. Here's my instruments. And actually, you can click open. As you can see, it says all supported media. So I'm going to go with all files. And now I can. So the problem is that it just said supported media. And for some reason, these are not supported, but they are supported actually. So I'm going to go with all files. Just highlight all of them. Click open. And they should import into this view right here. Now, it did say that they're not supported. And if we get an error message, we're going to go to Media Encoder and change them into a different folder. But as you can see, they are supported and they're all in here. Okay, so here is my different instruments: my bass, my drum, my second drum, my crunchy organ, and my guitar. Let's go ahead and give these a listen. All right, now we have a problem, and you're smart, so you can see what the problem is. The problem is that we have a little sound right in the beginning of our file, right? It's not a very pleasant sound. It's like a little beep. It's actually a tone, which is undesirable for our project. So we're going to, once again, a reminder that this is our time selecting or our cursor tool. And we're going to put this right here at the end of our tone. And as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of zoom into this tone because I just want to get the tone, but I don't want to eliminate this part because this is part of my guitar. All right. Now, you'll also see some lines. You see these lines? So what Adobe Audition does is it reads the sound and it kind of puts beats, if you will, at the sounds. All right. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that at a different time. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see this line right here at the end of my tone. I'm going to put my cursor right there. I'm going to go ahead and select this area and just hit the delete button on my keyboard. Okay, so now you see that we have a little piece at the beginning which we don't want to eliminate. All right, so this one is set, and if you want, we can go ahead and save it. So File and Save. Well, for now, let's just save it as a WAV file, and we'll work with it later. Okay, so let's just go ahead and hit OK. All right, so now it's a WAV file. We're going to do the same thing with all our other sounds. Okay, we're going to eliminate this little piece of sound right at the beginning of each of these files because we don't want that tone in the file. And so now that we have these files, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put our drums into our multi-track. Okay, and we can do this one of two ways. First of all, let me go ahead and expand this once again. Again, we've edited all those little tones out. And this is going to be our nice little kind of beginning drum beat. Now, we can right click right here and we can go insert into multi-track. Okay? And as we do that, it's going to ask us to create a new multi-track session. So we can do it that way. All right? Or we can go right here to multi-track and it's still going to ask us to create a new multi-track session. So this one we're going to call Marfi Adobe Audition, and we'll just call it Music. We're not going to change any of the other settings except for our file location, because this one we want to go into our Adobe right here, into this folder. We're not going to do any templates, same sample rate as we did before, and we're going to go ahead and hit OK. All right, and now we should see our multi-track. All right, so now what you're seeing is this is our project, and we've got our sounds again. Okay, so we're going to start with our drums, and our first one I believe was 21. We're just going to grab it and drag it right here. Okay, so it says like an error message. We'll go ahead and hit OK, and you're going to see it's making a copy of this particular file. So now we can go ahead and listen and see what we have. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and put in our next drum, which is drum 17. It's going to ask us to do the same thing, and we're going to put this all on the same drum track. Okay. All right. And this one we're going to change right here, this track name, to drums. And it should be a seamless transition from one to the other. Okay, now the problem is that our old Audition version used to have a, let's go back to 100%. This is now a slip slide tool, which automatically is slowing down our track. So we're going to go to 100%. All right. So it used to be a cell, which means that it was a looping file, but that's no longer available in this version of Adobe. And so we're just going to go ahead and repeat the same thing over and over again. Let's try this. So as you can see, it was asking us to resave every time. We've got like 3 different versions now, and that's not really ideal, okay? So let's see how it sounds right now. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and go copy and paste. Control V, paste. All right, and you'll see right here what I did is I clicked this right here. That took me to the end of this file. All right, so I'm going to go right there. Just hit Control V again. Do the same thing. Control V, and I'll do the same thing. And so again, it wants to be about a minute long. Control V, and now we've got a track which is a minute long. Because if I go right here to the end, I'm going to see my timer right here at 59 seconds, right? It's about a minute long. So now if I go all the way to the beginning of our project, again, we're going to have a minute of this drum beat. All right, so the next track we're going to put in is our bass guitar. Bass guitar. All right, so here's our bass. We're just going to find our bass. I don't remember exactly which one it was. Oh, it's this one right here. And we're going to put it in our next track, bass. All right, just to make a copy. And you can see right here again, it's this color. This purple color. So here's our active track. And you can kind of see our sound is on one side. It's not stereo, but it's more towards one side, I believe. Not that it really matters. We're just going to go ahead and see how this sounds. Actually, I'm going to drag this here. I don't want my bass to start right at the beginning. I want some drums first and then the bass to start, right? That will sound kind of cool like that. So again, this is just music composition. And I want this to snap, right? We want them to snap to the edges, right? Because if they don't, well, it's going to be kind of a mess. It's not going to sound like music. It's going to sound like. You're not going to worry about. Let me again just kind of give you a sample of what would happen if this wasn't matched up. Well, I was lucky because I actually matched it up, but we want to make sure these lines are matched up, all right? These lines right here have to match up. And with this one again, I'm going to right click, I'm going to copy. I'm going to make sure that this is snapped, this cursor right here, just by using this and Control V on my keyboard. All right, to the end, Control V, take it to the end, Control V, take it to the end, Control V, Control V. And again, you should be more creative, but I'm just kind of rushing just to kind of demonstrate this real quick. All right. And I want my drum beats to go out by themselves. All right. So now we have a bass. Now we haven't mixed anything yet. All right. We're not mixing anything yet. Let's go ahead with our guitar at this point. And let's see if it's drums. And this might be the drum. That's a drum again. We don't want that. All right. There's our guitar. Classic. Reggae drum. Oh, probably down at the bottom. All right. Crunchy organ. Let's go with the crunchy organ at this point. Now you'll see that the crunchy organ isn't the same size, right? So again, we want to go either snap it to the beginning or snap it to the end. So in this case, we'll snap it right there. It's doing what it's supposed to do. And let's go right click, copy, and move our cursor. Whoops. Let's go backwards with our cursor. And Control V. All right. To the end. Control V. To the end. Control V. Actually, I'm going to have a couple of passes with no crunchy organ. All right, so let's see what we've got so far. Now, I will tell you that as you add instruments, your overall volume starts to increase. All right, so again, that's kind of messy. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And now I'm going to use this slip slide tool right here. I'm going to stretch it because my organ is very fast. I want my organ to be a little slower. So I'm just going to take my tool right here to where it says stretch and just drag it to the end right here. All right. So now we stretched it to match. It's a little nicer. Again, we want it to snap right to the end, right there. Well, that might not have been the best option, all right? So let's go back to 100%. Okay, and we'll go ahead and copy and go back here, Control V, paste, and I think that'll match up pretty good. Again, I haven't mixed anything yet. I'm just adding parts. And I'm just going to rush through it here at the end just to kind of get it done. All right, and I believe this is our guitar, reggae guitar. So we want our guitar to kind of start, we'll start our reggae guitar here. Again, same thing. And we might just have our guitar just play a little bit here and there. Let's see how that sounds. All right, definitely like that. So I'm going to right click, copy, and again, using this, Control V, all right, and Control V, Control V, all right, and now I'm going to go here, and again, making sure that this track is highlighted, Control V. So again, I'm just kind of rushing through it a little bit, but let's see what we got at this point in time. Okay, so what you saw that I did there was I was actually turning volumes up and down as we were playing, right? We were doing it live. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning. And I'm going to, you see how we're over modulated? I just clicked here just to turn that off. I want my levels to be good, but I don't want them to be, to be over modulating. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to solo my drums. And as I solo my drums, everything else is going to go mute except for the drum track. And now I'm going to play with my audio levels. Now, you can see that it's a little high just one time, so this isn't going to stress me out so much because I want to hear my drums, all right? So let's go ahead and unsolo this, and let's go ahead and solo my bass. And just to go back quickly, double-click on here, make sure it's highlighted, 0, enter, and that takes me back to the beginning. So now I'm just going to play with the volume on my bass because I want to hear the bass. Okay, so that's about as high as the bass is going to get for me, that I want it to get. Next one I'm going to play with is this one, which definitely is too high. I want to turn that down. I want it to be very subtle in the background. All right, and finally, let's see what our guitar has to say. And again, we'll just drag it back to the beginning of the guitar. We want the guitar also to be kind of subtle in the background. And I'm not going to lie, ideally, you want the guitar, to change key. So I didn't take as much time as I should have. But let's see what we have at this point in time. Again, a little over modulation ain't gonna kill you. I think my guitar is just slightly off center, so I'm just going to move these around a little bit, make sure that they're in the right spot. As you can see, they're just slightly off, right? If you cross them, if you cross them over, there's going to be a crossfade automatically go in. That's a pretty cool thing, but we just want them to be end to end. That's a different little thing. We got a little crossfade going there. What's happening? All right, so we got a little crossfade going. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm going to zoom in on this area and just kind of see what's happening here, people. There we go. All right. Oh, well. All right. Definitely want it to snap at the end and at the beginning. So let's see what we've got as far as our final project is concerned. Now what I did is I double clicked up here and it expanded to full view. That's another little thing. So let's take a look. Let's see what this sounds like. All right, so now all we have to do is finish this, right? We kind of like the levels. Now, if our levels are too high, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go into our mixer view. And I'll show you the mixer view. So why not go ahead and take a look at that too, just to kind of, because everything's a little bit high, so we're gonna turn it down just a smidge so we're not getting these red lines over here. Let's take a second then quickly to take a look at the audio mixer. And so in order to take a look at the audio mixer, and again, what we want to do is we want to do a kind of a master volume of the whole thing, okay? And our master is located here, so we can kind of play with our master volume here, but that's not how we're going to do this. So we're gonna do real quick is, again, we're gonna open up the mixer window, and we're just gonna open up in our window and go to mixer. Now you'll see that mixer appears right here with our editor, all right? And so now when we press play on our project, we can come to this mixer window and we can go ahead and play with the audio, all right? So what we want to do really is now at this point, since we've already mixed everything, and you can do some fine tuning in that mixer, and I'll show you that real quick, but we kind of want to play with our master volume so we don't over modulate. So we're going to go ahead and hit play, go to the mixer mode. You see our different tracks over here. And here's our master. And again, we're just mixing. We can either add I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty safe. Well, we got a little bit of heat right there, but I'll tell you, overall, we just went down 4 decibels for the whole thing. And for the most part, our project is safe. And again, the master volume can be controlled from down here as well. So if you scroll down, your last track is basically a master volume as well. All right, so this is ready to be rendered. Of course, we know rendering is that process of finishing a project. We're not using the term rendering, but we are going to use the term mixing down in this case. So again, we're going to go to File, make sure that everything is saved. All right, it's going to give you some save windows, and we have been saving things as we went along, so all these were saved earlier. And now we're going to go to File, Export, and we're going to export our multi-track. We're going to do a multi-track mix down. We're going to mix down the entire session, and we're going to mix it down to an MP3 file. We're going to put it in our Audition music. Okay, and again, it's going to be called Murphy Adobe Audition Music. I'm going to delete all this other stuff after it. I don't need the word mix down. And it's going to be an MP3. We can mix it down to any of these other formats, but we're going to go with MP3. And that's ready to go. Now, I will tell you, of course, that a mix down is a lot faster than the render with Adobe Premiere Pro, because we just basically have some audio tracks. Hit save. All right, so now we're all ready to go right here. Hit OK. You're going to get a quick little thing right here that tells you, and it's done. All right, so we're going to go ahead and minimize this. And I'm having a little trouble with my camera right now, but that's okay. You don't want to see me, right? All right, and we're going to go again to our Adobe Audition project. And here is our project. It looks like it saved that term mix down, even though we didn't want it to. But if we right click it, and I like to open with Windows Media Player. That's my preferred player, just because I think it opens a little faster than some other ones, and it'll play my file when it opens it, and it'll sound like, you know, something that you downloaded from the internet. All right. That is our completed project. It's not a great project. I mean, you should spend more time than I did with it, but I was trying to do it all in under an hour, so kind of keep it clean for you guys, and short and sweet to the point, but that's the project. Again, we've got some drums, we've got bass, we've got, 4 tracks. You should do 4 tracks. Get more creative than me. If you're a musician, this should be a fun project for you. And if you're not a musician, guess what? You will be a musician by the time this is over. You actually have composed a piece of music. So congratulations, everybody. And we'll go ahead and stop it. That's enough of that. And that's the project. So make sure that you turn it in. And good job on that one. We'll be using Adobe Audition a few more times this year, including a podcast and, of course, to do a radio commercial. And I'll show you some other tricks and tips with Adobe Audition. All right, guys. So